Pennsylvania mine was extremely wealthy. It then collapsed. Then it fought to come back and ultimately died. And it's not remembered for just the boom period and be part of mine history. It's actually remembered for an ecological disaster. So the mine itself was founded in 1879. That was right at the height of when the mining boom was taking place up here all over the valley. In fact, all the way back up is the American mine and several that are dotted throughout this area. But this one was founded primarily for silver, although they did pull out some other metals, lead, gold, and it was one of the highest producing mines right up until 1893. And in 1893, the Sherman Silver Purchase Act basically bottomed out all of these silver mines. So the idea was that the government wanted to stabilize and make predictable the cost of silver, so they started subsidizing it. And then because of fears of inflation, essentially they repealed it. And in 1893, when they repealed it, the price of silver bottomed out, and most of these mines collapsed as a result. Some of them, including like the Pennsylvania mine, kind of fought through it for the next few decades. They were in on and off operation right up until kind of 1920. I think they even had some activity into the 1940s, but by the 1940s, it was pretty much done. So the mine was built right along Peru Creek, which runs right down in that gully and all the way down the valley where it connects with the Snake River. That location along Peru Creek and down into the Snake River is actually what's linked to the ecological disaster of the mine. So it's easy to think of these old mines as predating any kind of environmental laws, and that's why ecological disasters or damage was caused. And that's not untrue, because there were certainly a lot of chemicals and activities that wouldn't be acceptable by modern standards. But in this case, it was actually all of this rock. So essentially, this vein that contained the silver has a lot of sulfides in it, sulfide minerals. And what happened is whenever they extracted all of those rock, it came up with stuff like pyrite, right? Fool's gold. And when sulfides are exposed to the atmosphere and oxygen, there's a chemical reaction that takes place, and it produces sulfuric acid. And it's actually that sulfuric acid that caused the ecological disaster. The sulfuric acid got down into Peru Creek, down into the Snake River, and killed everything. You can actually tell by the yellow in the rock that it's got a lot of sulfur in there. But anyway, in 2013, a joint project between local government, state, and the Environmental Protection Agency came in and started a reclamation project here at the Pennsylvania mine. And it's been going on for years. And essentially, I'll show you where they actually built some of the water containment tanks, because the problem was when they extruded the rock and they built up piles and piles of the unnecessary rock that wasn't profitable, over time, that sulfuric acid kind of eked out of the rock and went down to the creek and prevented growth of any life. In fact, if you've been up in the area, you've seen some paw marks of this, because if you've come up the creek, you've noticed that the creek's got kind of white rock that's layered all the way along the water's edge. And that's really from the leaching of lead and aluminum in the rock as the acidic water is actually coming down over the top of it. So the good news is that that project, the reclamation project, and you can see evidence of it all the way down where they've actually graded and treated the land. You can see some of the white pipes and evidence of work that's taken place here in the flatland leading down to Peru Creek. And then I'll show you some of the containment ponds over here where they're trying to get the water that comes off of the mine even today and hold it so that it doesn't further contaminate the river. Sadly, it's really fallen apart. Even in the last 10 or 15 years, there was a lot more of the structure that was actually standing. So it won't be too long. It'll, fall and just be a heap like a lot of the others. It is really cool to see one of the old structures still fighting up here.